everybody? Welcome to another episode of Nasty Edition Garage. So today we're going to do a little bit of a twist. We're going to remove ourselves from the Toyota front end reassembly series just for a little bit, and we're going to veer off to the 3VZ, now FTE series. So what I want to do is catch up on this motor. There are a lot of things that we need to do to this motor that we have not done yet, and I want to at least have this motor running or ready to run and prepped so we could just throw it in the engine bay. So there are quite a few things that I want to do to this motor, and first and foremost I need to install these valve covers so then we can protect all these internal parts from getting dust or any type of debris. So I want to go ahead and do that, install first, and we'll move from there, guys. So let's go. This is my 3VZ FTE. Let me give you a little bit of a back history on this thing. I did put this in at one point stock on a V6 MR2 that I had. I did have this. This thing never really blew up, but the head gasket failed. It was a stock head gasket. It just was not holding the power. And remember, this motor I had stock running at 7 PSIs with a turbo on it and a Haltech PS1000, I believe it was. And this got up to 322 horses and 366 torque before the head gasket gave. So I think that's pretty good for a motor that normally came stock at 189 horsepower. So I think that was paradise by comparison. So I took that opportunity to go ahead and rebuild this motor. So now this motor is rebuilt, I mean, to the T. We have now a metal head gasket. So we're trying to avoid head gasket failure at any point. So that's a new part that I have on there that was custom made. They don't make them for this motor. So I'm going to try to get a stock of them soon and put them on my website. So if anybody that is interested can go on my website and buy them. And like I said in the last episode, guys, the website is coming together nicely. So it would be up and running soon, hopefully by Black Friday. So I can give you guys opportunities to buy things that I have available. So back to this motor. So that metal head gasket was the next thing I did. After that, I reached out to Sora Performance and had some exhaust manifolds custom made. So these exhaust manifolds are just phenomenal. As you guys can see, everything here was very, I mean, nicely done. Welds are great. I'm not a welder, but to me this looks phenomenal. Same thing goes for the other bank's exhaust manifolds. So those were custom made by Sora Performance, and if you guys do want to reach out to him, he does make these things. So if you guys are interested, he can hook you guys up. So moving on, we are going to convert from the distributor to coil unplug. These coil unplugs are from an Audi R8. They fit very well. As you guys can see, they're pretty heavy duty. They seem to work really well. I do have some Brisk spark plugs in there that I really do like and work really well. So moving on from there, I do have this really cool, this is, kind of a side note, a really cool, I guess, oil drainer. This is from, I can't remember, Fumoto. I got this off eBay. It's really cool. You pull this out, you kind of lift and open. So what you see there is then it all opens up, and you could drain your oil. Same thing, then you could just turn it back and it locks it, and you take this kind of locking plastic and go right over here, and it's locked in place, which I think it's pretty cool for what it is. It'll make the oil change job 10 times easier. So that's that. I also have a oil cooler on this end. This was a oil cooler I picked up on eBay, kind of a universal one. So this is what I'm going to use for right now. It's super close to my exhaust manifolds, but I'm going to try to figure something out there. Maybe, angle all these hoses down and around maybe. Next is going to be the custom water neck, the lower water neck for the 3VZ. I did get a 16AN fitting to get welded on there, just so then everything is pretty streamlined as far as all my coolant lines go. All this stuff is brand new. Everything is set to timing. As you guys can tell, this is a brand new water pump, brand new timing belts, tensioner, idler. All that stuff is all brand new. So that's awesome for that. But guys, next step is really to install these valve covers. I really want to install the valve covers because I really want to protect everything that's going on in these heads. I really don't want any failure at any point for any of this. I don't know if I could take another hit as far as blowing up this motor, because this motor is actually, I have so much money into it currently as it is, as you see it. So I really want to make sure that I do every precaution to make sure that this is done correctly. So guys, we are going to install these valve covers. I have some high temp oil resistant Pro Seal. So this is kind of an RTV. We're going to use this for the valve covers. And the way the valve covers work, with every little hump here, I like to put a little dollop of RTV. All right, everybody, I got everything really nice and clean, as you guys can tell. I got as much off as I possibly can to make it as clean as possible. But what I'm going to do next, the next step for me, what I like to do is take some wax and grease remover and go throughout all the edges. So I'm gonna take maybe like a one of those shop towels and fill it with some wax and grease remover, and then go across the outer portion of this head, just so then I can make sure I remove all the grease, dust, and dirt, so that I can have maximum adhesion for the RTV, because I really don't want these things to leak, especially after all the powder coating and everything that I'm doing to them. I really don't want them to get messed up or leak everywhere all over the place. So guys, we're gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a shop towel real quick, make sure I get some acetone or some wax and grease remover rather, and clean that up. And then we're gonna go ahead and start the RTVing. And remember, the RTV only goes in these sections. One right here, a nice little dollop right there, a nice little dollop right here, one right here. Same thing goes here, one little dollop there, on this side right here, and this side right here, along with this side right here. So guys, we're gonna do this and get this done. So let's get this shop towel and go from there, guys. So let's go. All right, everybody, we have everything nice and clean. You could even hear the squeakiness on the heads, which I am super okay with and happy that it's clean. But there's one little section here, as you guys can see, there's still a little bit of RTV right there. So I got to make sure I take that out. Like this could be detrimental. This could make this valve cover leak, you know, leak all the way down here, hit on the exhaust manifolds, burn them or burn something else. So I want to make sure I'm going to remove that. I'm going to use that same little Husky screwdriver, that little flathead that I used. Where is it? This little thing, and I think this is a 3.0, I guess. I don't know what that means, but here goes the little tip. So it's relatively easy. I'm just going to go ahead and lift at this just softly. I don't want to damage the actual head themselves, as you see, and it comes right out. So I am super okay with that. I'm going to go ahead now and get that rag that I had, put a little bit more wax and grease remover, and then go ahead over that section just to make sure that we remove all that debris and wax. So I still have some on this towel, actually. Let me make sure. Yeah, there's still some on this towel, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Clean that up real nice, and we're ready to go, guys. Moving on to the next step of installation of these 3VZ valve covers, we have all the gaskets. So as you guys can see here, we have the rings that go under here, which I'm pretty excited about because they're new. Last ones I had were very crappy, so hoping that these work a little better. And then we have the actual valve cover gasket itself. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this done. We're gonna remove these valve covers from this table. We're gonna try to clean them up just a little bit, dust them off, and then start installing those O-rings. And after we install those O-rings, then we're gonna go ahead and do the RTV in those corners that I did show you, and I'm just super excited because at this point I mean it's gonna look so nice. It's gonna look so nice, and I'm just super happy that we're working on this motor just because it's been a long time coming, guys. So let's go ahead and start doing some work on these valve covers, and let's go. All right, everybody, so what we have here is a nicely clean powder coated valve cover to the 3VZ. So what we're going to do now is install these O-rings. These O-rings go in the spots where the basically what it is the protection for the spark plugs, so the spark plugs don't foul out and get oil in them. This is kind of a good way, or a way, to combat that. So they make sure that they have these on, so that'll be nice and tight and snugged in those spots. So each valve cover has 3, so there should be 6 in total. Right here we also have the valve cover gasket themselves that goes right around here into this groove, which ensures oil from spilling out of the valve cover themselves. So guys, what we're going to do now is fit these rings in here. We're going to fit them nice and snug. They're supposed to be nice and snug in there, so we're going to go ahead and try our best to do that. Then we're going to go ahead and fit the valve cover gasket itself, and then we're going to make sure once all that is nicely in place, we're going to go ahead and put our dollops of high temp RTV in the spots that I showed you guys earlier, and make sure we snug this down. I have a nice trusty sheet here that tells me what my specs are for my 3VZ. I made this, I made this so that it kind of has every torque spec, like cylinder head covers. So it has everything that I need to know as far as what is the torque specs for it. So I'm super excited about that, so I can make sure that all this stuff is nice and in place, and we'll go from there, guys. So let's go. Alright guys, so look at this. We have everything nicely snug and plugged in. I did use a little bit of oil just to kind of pop these in. I did hand press them because then when I go ahead and torque down the actual valve cover to the head, this will actually kind of like finesse itself deeper in to the valve cover itself, just because I'm putting pressure from the valve cover as I'm torquing it down and putting pressure on the cylinders that hold the spark plugs. So they go right around here. So what happens is that it kind of uses it almost as a reinforcer and kind of like holds it down so it can make it a nice tight seal. So I got this on now. As you guys can see, this is the valve cover gasket themselves. It fits actually really nice, as you guys all can see. Some parts I have to just continue like pushing down, but again, like this is pretty nice. Like the fitment on this is pretty nice. So we're gonna go ahead and then install this valve cover on the appropriate side that it's supposed to be. This is the one that has the oil feed. So what we're gonna do is that I believe goes on this side of the bank. So we're gonna go ahead and install that. But I do have a couple things. I do have some titanium bolts that I am gonna be using. So we got these titanium bolts, and I am ready to use these on these valve covers. It's gonna look so nice. This is titanium black, so I'm really excited. So let's jump into it, guys, and let's go. Alright guys, as you guys can see, I put this RTV right where it needs to be. I try not to get too close to the inner portion of the head, just because I don't want this to fall all the way in there and clog up any oil galleys or anything like that. But I did the same here, I did the same here, and I also did the same there. So guys, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and not waste any time and go ahead and install this valve cover and try to plant it on there well, and then try to snug it all in. But first we're gonna go ahead and remove these coil unplugs, just so then we can have the space to go ahead and install that valve cover. So guys, let's jump on into it. Let's go. Everybody, we have the valve cover on the actual bank of the head, and it's looking mighty fine. It's looking phenomenal. I love the way this black looks. So next up, we're going to go ahead and install some of these titanium bolts onto this valve cover. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're going to have to use 8 of those onto this valve cover. And what it causes for, as far as torque specs go, I believe this is the cylinder head cover to head. That's 52 inch-pounds, which equates to 4.3 foot-pounds. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to tighten it a little bit more and just bump it up to 5 foot-pounds of torque. If it allows me to do that, I will, just so then I can secure it. It's nice and tight. I'm not going to overdo it, but it just gives it a little bit extra security. That's just what I like to do, guys. Again, this is what I like to do, not what obviously the torque spec says. So I like to tighten it just a tad bit over, just to make sure that I have proper sealage here, just to make sure that nothing leaks. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and do that, and let's go. Alright everybody, check this out. I have the black titanium fitted real nice and snug on our 3VZ valve cover. I did torque all these to 5 foot-pounds. It's just a little bit more than what was the original OEM torque spec. I just like to tighten them just a tad bit more to secure proper seal, but this came out fine, guys. We're gonna go ahead and put these back on, or back in, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on to the rear firewall bank and go ahead and do the same thing, guys. So let's go. Alright folks, check this out. We have the valve covers fully installed and torqued down to spec, along with the R8 Audi coil on plugs, kind of positioned, obviously not wired up. We still have to figure out this trigger system and stuff like that, but that's for a later time. But check this out. These valve covers came out phenomenal, and the powder coating, I have to give a straight up thank you and a big shout out to Elvin at Elvin Hydro Dipping and Powder Coating out here in Chicago. He does a great job. This is the silk satin black powder coating, guys. This thing looks amazing. And then I did pair it up with the black titanium. Everything here is torqued down to 5 foot-pounds of torque. That's what the valve covers didn't spec for. I think it was like 4.3 foot-pounds, but I like to torque them down just a little bit tighter, just to make sure that I ensure no leakage. But guys, check this out. This is looking pretty damn good. I'm super excited with how this is coming out and how it came out in general. So this is kind of going to conclude today's episode, guys. I really want to tell every single one of you guys, I greatly appreciate all of my subscribers, and I really appreciate all you guys that have been interacting with me on my social media and on my YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys, and stay tuned. We have a lot more of this coming up. And remember, guys, check out the Nasty Addiction merch store. It's only going to be limited for right now because I'm going to switch from Teespring to my own website. So, guys, I'll be having my first t-shirt, my actual first t-shirt. It's going to be really cool. This is directed to the V6 guys, so I know you guys will like it. So, guys, remember, like, share, subscribe. Check out the Nasty Addiction merch store for right now. It's on Teespring, so check that out. In a few weeks, it will be live on my website. So, guys, make sure you check that all out again. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.